Good afternoon, my friends. This is the Grim Flayer, and I hope you're all doing very well today. It is time to do a first on this channel. I've never brought you any content featuring the other most busted companion in Modern and in most formats until today. We are playing Yorion Sky Nomad, but we are not leaving our BGX family. This is a Sultai deck. This is a true mid-range deck. There's no permission in it. It is a disruptive removal and discard plus value and aggro deck. Mid-range if I've ever seen it. And the fact that a blue deck, especially an 80-card main deck blue deck, is not opting to play any permission at all, just shows you how crazy the value of the Simic cards, the UGX, like mythic rare bombs and rare bombs basically has been over the last year and a half. So it's actually a really cool list, though, conceptually. And this is a donation league for Guy Catlin. Now, I shouted him out recently as a new Patreon supporter, and I assumed he was French, so I said Guy Catlin. And it turns out he is from the American South, so it's more like Guy Catlin. And he got a great kick out of my horrible off-base pronunciation, and I don't know what's worse, my southern accent or my French accent, but there you go, my friend. This one is for you, Guy, and yeah, what can I say? Extremely generous. Not only hopping on the Patreon train, but also pretty much immediately ponying up for this donation league, and on top of that, loaning me about half of the cards that you see before you here today. So, round of applause for Guy. Very, very cool, my friend. And yeah, the first draft of the deck that he showed me, and also shout out to my Discord here, because I presented them with the first draft of the list and said, hey, what do you guys think? And I got a lot of really good feedback, so thanks to you guys for sure. The first draft of the list, I kind of saw the concept, but it was too much of a green-black rock deck. There was not enough build-around for Yorion, not enough payoff for Yorion, and we weren't optimizing Yorion, and we weren't necessarily optimizing the 80-card setup either. So a couple suggestions later, Guy came back with a second draft that is basically what you see before you here. I had some input in it, but it is basically his concoction, and I think it's actually really, really good. So we've got, as mentioned, no permission. It is a strict green-black core as far as the interaction goes. So 4 ofs of Fatal Push, Inquisition, Thoughtseize. Again, remember, it's an 80-card deck. And 4 Tarmogoyf as well, supplemented by 3 Scavenging Ooze, 3 Abrupt Decay, 2 Assassin's Trophy, 2 Pulse, and only 2 Liliana of the Veil. She's not at her best in this shell, with how much we want to keep our hand full, but she's definitely got some game. Still definitely something we can find good spots for. But then, and we've got 1 of Vraska Golgari Queen to round things out. Then, so that's kind of one part of the deck, is the green-black core. Beyond that, we've got the direct Yorion synergy with cards like Arkham's Astrolabe and Abundant Growth that green-black X decks technically can play, but usually don't, because they don't really offer card selection. They're just a consistency tool in that they're a 1-mana cantrip, and they can fix your mana, but we can't usually necessarily afford the tempo loss of playing a card like that, but they are free rolls in terms of enabling a snow base, which in turn makes Icefang Quattle much better, and both Quattle and the cantrips are very, very strong blink targets for Yorion. So that's kind of how it all comes together. And then that's not all that Blue brings to the table. Of course, we are playing 2 copies of Snapcaster Mage, just another really strong X for 1. 3 copies of Narset Parter of Veil. So this is definitely one of the more fringe inclusions, but it's something that we settled on, because Yorion blinking Planeswalkers to reset them is actually fairly appealing, but not as appealing as it might look at first glance, because they don't come back until the end step. So it's not like you can get an activation, blink it with Yorion, get another activation. So where Yorion really seems to shine with Planeswalkers is with ones that can tick down but can't tick back up. They've fallen down and they can't get up, and that's Narset, and Narset gives the deck a different dimension. Of course, like many other permanents we have, she is a card advantage engine, but beyond that, she does bring a little bit of a present element, give the opponent a chance to misplay, and again, she's a good Yorion blink target for sure. 4 copies of Uro, along with Quattle. This just lets us bury fair decks. Very good against aggro as well. And we've got a Jace to top things off. One of Jace is pretty common in any take on Sultai, and this is no exception. The sideboard. The sideboard is very, very streamlined. I like it a lot. We've got 3 each of 4 different cards. Excuse me, 4 each of 4... No. I had it right the first time. 3 each of 4 different cards. Sorry, we've got 3 ofs on Brutality, Plague Man, Veil of Summer, and Ashiok Dreamrender, and they're supplemented by a less common sight, 2 of Thragtusk, but Thrag is a great top end against aggro, against burn, against midrange, and with our many cantrips, we definitely can get there. Of course, another very good blink target for Yorion. So this is what Guy has come up with, again, with some help from myself, and in turn, some help from my fine folks on the Discord. So this one's for you, my friend. Let's have some fun. Let's see what the Yorion deck can come up with. And we found our opponent right away. Let's also shout out 2 new Patreon supporters. Actually, one of them, Chris, the Confidant, I believe is a returning Patreon. No last name given, so it's a little bit hard to tell, but I'm pretty sure Chris dipped out and then dipped back in. So if that's the case, great to see you again, my friend. Thank you so much. I do appreciate you, as I appreciate all Patreon supporters. And then we also have a brand new Inquisitor, Jacob, or perhaps Jakob, Aaron Soto. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you more than I could ever say. Let's declare our companion and let us begin. We've got a 1-lander. We've got a tough decision right away. I think I'm probably going to keep it because we have 2 cantrips, and it's a really good hand in the blind otherwise. We can function totally off of this forest thanks to Astrolabe. I guess I am keeping, but obviously this comes with some risks, and we are against a Companion Mirror right away, no surprise there. We are against Lurrus of the Dream Den. So our first hit is a Fatal Push. No second land yet. Hopefully we'll hit one off the top, and then we'll be really, really ready to go. If we hit a second land off the top, our hand can tangle with most things. Bloodstained Mire, so I suppose this is either Burn or Jund. OP with a Soulscar Mage. Okay, I guess this is probably the Prowess deck. Oh, oof. Dang, no second land. So the high-risk, high-reward play is to cast Abundant Growth, looking for the second land. But since we have a couple other things to do, I don't think we can really afford the fail rate, so I'm going to Inquisition. But obviously this is a bit of a disaster to not have hit the second land in the top 2. So opponent has a 2-lander. They have a very good hand. Bauble, Thoughtseize, another Soulscar Mage, Lava Dart, Lightning Bolt. Yikes. Yikes. Well, we are in some trouble. Think I'm supposed to take Soulscar Mage there, but you could really make a case for most things. We're in a tough spot because if the opponent makes land drops, then the second wind that they'll have via Lurrus is going to be really rough. And if they don't, it means they're just gassing out. Here comes the Thoughtseize. Our hand's pretty Thoughtseize-proof. Like, it's a hand with a wide variety, but we have such an inherent fail rate that, as I was about to say, they might just be priced into taking the Abundant Growth. And that's exactly what happens. So opponent might just sling some burn at us here for a big, big attack. Indeed they do. Lava Dart. Okay. Gotta draw that land. Gotta draw that land. Nope. Wow. Okay, at this point it's pretty statistically unlikely that we miss it for this long. I honestly think our hand could afford to miss it with the first 2, but it had to be in the top 3 for us, right? We're just kind of in a hole we probably can't dig ourselves out of. I guess we'd need them to flood. We'd need to be able to deal with the Lurrus. I'm just taking the one here because, yeah, as I thought that'd be more likely to have them play the Lurrus here, and I really am just all in on drawing the second land here. The one free damage is not really a good thing against the opposing deck, obviously, but I don't want them not to play the Lurrus, because we need to draw the second land to have a chance, and if we do, we want to deal with the Lurrus before it does any damage. Of course we don't. Of course we don't. I'm actually just going to concede to this. I do not see a way back. They're going to just keep looping. They're going to keep outgrinding us, and the games go really long with a deck like this, I assume, so I'm just going to keep things chugging along. So that's unfortunate. I mean, it's highly unfortunate that no lands, I believe, after 4 draws. Nothing you can do about that. Now, I'm not saying there's no argument to have mulled that, but having kept it, we got very unlucky. So, Plague Engineer's okay, Collective Brutality's good. I could see, like, leveraging an Ashiok here. A card like Nile Spellbomb I'm very happy to bring in against Prowess, or against Lurrus decks, and against the mashup, I'd love it. Ashiok is much less exciting, because it does not replace itself, and it is vulnerable. However, we don't have Spellbombs, so I might play X number of Ashiok. I'm going to begin conceptualizing the list with 1, and, you know, Plague Engineers they're kind of optional here. Really feels bad to give a deck like that the free win in game 1, but we did. I'm not as interested in Thoughtseize as I am against stock Prowess because they don't play Bedlam Reveler, so it's possible we should be siding out all 4. I don't think that's, like, nailed on definite, but very possible. The rest of our deck looks really good, though. Like, there's not really that many bad cards. The blue Planeswalkers might be a little bit hard to protect. It's kind of about it. So let's trim from this category here. I guess I'll play without Jace. Trim 1 Narset. Let's play this Ashiok. Just a 1 of. I don't really want more than 1. And would we rather have the second Narset or the third Plague Man? I guess we're going to make the Plague Man better in multiples, and Narset is worse in multiples, so there we go. Alright, guys. Well, let's draw a second land at least this game. Our deck's trying to curve out to 5 lands, and we didn't even curve out to 2 there. Feels bad. Feels super bad. Alright, well, we're definitely hitting our land drops here. Despite the lack of early interaction, this has got to be a keep. OP with that Swifty. That Swifty into Bauble start. Best draw off the top is probably just Fatal Push. We want to make our land drops and stave off the opponent here. As painlessly as possible in both regards, Fatal Push would allow us to do that. Opponent knows about our Misty Rainforest. Oh, okay. I really don't feel able to do nothing this turn, so I'm going to run out the Skoos as a bit of a sacrificial lamb. I'm going to get basic Forest here, even though it looks a little weird because we have the other one, but I don't see them having a way to destroy Abundant Growth. And I don't think they're likely to play Blood Moon either, but I haven't played against this deck yet. I've been playing kind of the bare minimum of Modern lately. So stranger things have happened than a Rakdos deck playing Blood Moon, right? But I don't expect it. Nevertheless, we should get a basic there, and I'm going to get green just in case. Seal of Fire. Yeah, I mean, there is no way the Scooz is surviving, but that's kind of a bad way to lose it. You know, it'd be cool if they had to Lightning Bolt it or something. Okay, play a Soul Scar Mage. Darn, no 2-for-1 with Pulse. Abundant Growth. Okay. Is it Uro time? I don't think so. I think it's probably Goyf time. Another Abundant Growth. Alrighty then. Well, if we can survive and stabilize, we need to start interacting, obviously, but provided that, and obviously the Soul Scar is a pretty bad thing for us to see, because it allows them to deal pretty nicely with our Goyf in a variety of ways, also playing around Maelstrom Pulse. But that is what it is. But if we can stabilize, if we can survive, you know, we're definitely going to get a lot of value out of Yorion. And if for some reason they are like shrinking but not killing the Goyf, we can reset the Goyf with Yorion too, but that seems unlikely. We gotta have the opponent hit some speed bumps here. They're not really doing so. Because they have Spell Bomb, and they also have... yeah, we've just gotta take a block here. They also have the third land naturally. So we gotta force them to spend some action here. Yep. Okay, opponent has us to 10. We've drawn Collective Brutality. That's a pretty nice one. Or is it? I mean, it kind of is, but it's possible that we're far enough behind that we're supposed to just escalate as best as we can and make them have some way to punish us for it. But we don't really want to lose much, if anything, from our hand, so I'm going to kick off with an Abundant Growth and see what we can see. Another Goyf. It's actually pretty good. I think I'm actually supposed to just keep playing creatures and find, like, an ideal spot for our interactive cards. We can't afford for them not to land. Like, we can't really afford to just pulse away one thing, necessarily. And we also cannot afford to have Brutality blown out. So after Spellbomb resolves, Goyf is only a 3/4, but and sequencing that way allowed us to see an extra card. So if we have cards we don't need, we can have a better Brutality, or we have better chance of curving out into Yorion here. So there's a lot to like. We just need the opponent to, again, have a little bit of a stumble here for us. If we had had better early interaction, we wouldn't be in a position where we kind of need them to brick. But we do kind of need them to brick a little bit, or have some clunk issues. Maybe stuck on 3 lands is good for us. I don't know. Well, they're not stuck on 3 lands. Okay, Lurrus. If they also have a bolt or something, That's one thing. If not, they might just, yeah, do this, get Seal of Fire back. Yeah, that's pretty good. It's pretty good. I think we're supposed to just take this hit. Don't want to throw my Goyf away that cheaply. Obviously, going to 6 really sucks, but we'll have a good Brutality this upcoming turn. Ice Fang Quattle. Ooh, oof. Just not hitting our land drops. I'm torn on Quattle. It dies to everything, including dying horribly to Lava Dart, which is the last thing we want. So should we just be pitching Uro? Probably. Oof. We can't double spell with anything except Brutality and Quattle. That's the big incentive to keep Quattle. Alright, I guess we've got to, right? I guess we kind of have to. Kind of priced into it. It's obviously a pretty weak play, but we draw another Pulse. I mean, if they're just gonna have nothing, then those are good. But otherwise, I guess we're gonna keep Uro and pitch one in that case. I don't think we can afford the full escalation. Can we? Nah, I don't think we can. Actually, you know, it's getting us to Uro more quickly. Sure, let's go for the full escalation. Gotta kill Lurrus. Alright, what is in their hand? And can it beat Tarmogoyf? That's the big question. Can it beat a Goyf? Thoughtseize, Cling to Dust. I guess we need to take away Cling to Dust and let them Thoughtseize away our Pulse. As bad as that is, it does allow us to, you know, top deck our 5th land and land Yorion and take advantage of them maybe flooding. But if they find good action this turn, we're pretty dead. Because Thoughtseize away our Pulse is definitely a bit of a blow. And if we lose our hand and both things in our board, but also live, well, at least then we can escape Uro as the floor for our turn next turn. Okay, they're going to seal away our Quattle, which does grow the Goyf. There's that land we knew about, so there's one unknown in hand. How bad would it be if they had, like, Unearth? I don't think that's too common in these types of decks. Oh, they just grew our Goyf to a 6/7 with those plays. Let's take a block. We'll see what they've got for that last card. Oh, is it a Cling to Dust? Well, we'll see. Doing something that they're tapping out for. Yep. Yep. Pretty brutal. Pretty brutal. Vraska Golgari Queen. That does some stuff. It's definitely not bad. It's gonna kill the Soul Scar and gotta play defense, obviously. We're dead to just about any burn spell if we don't. And we can start, if we get to untap, cashing in Abundant Growths. I don't know if it was better to take the Thoughtseize just because Cling to Dust has Escape. Back when we cast our Brutality, I think it was. I really don't think so. You know, them just getting another Cling seems pretty bad. But yeah, the opponent's turning these Fetch lands and Canopy lands into gold on the back of Cling to Dust. Hate to see it. This Prowess deck looks pretty cool. This black red Prowess deck. I just don't really like. If it was a normal meta, I would be all over this because I love Prowess and I love black-based interaction. And once again, we have to block here because we're dead to burn if we don't. But I'm just not interested in playing more than the minimum right now in the companion meta, frankly. That's just kind of how it is. I wish it was otherwise, but kind of exploring other things, taking a little bit of more time off than I'm used to. And they drew another Cling to Dust. Okay. Card is brutal. Yeah, just kind of waiting for them to do something about Companion before I play as much Modern as I'd normally like to. It's very homogenizing for me, very samey. You know, when every deck has the same type of curve and the same second wind in the form of Lurrus, or in some cases Yorion. I know that not everyone shares the opinion, but that's kind of where I'm at. Makes games take a lot longer, too. Yeah, just a million Clings to Dust. That first draw, the draw of the second Cling, proving to be very, very tough for us. At least our Vraska looks like she's going to live. Opponent with one unknown in hand. Alright, OP, alright. Well, we were so close to an Uro, but now it looks like we never even had it. I gotta give my Discord mods some great supporters credit. One of them, Mr. S. Mirabito, predicted long before this deck that we're facing came about that the Lurrus decks would eventually converge on like a clear best in deck with featuring Lurrus, and best deck in class built around Lurrus, I should say more accurately. And then maybe there would be some other contenders, but eventually a lot of the decks being kept afloat by Lurrus will fall by the wayside because, like anything else, it will become clearer over time. Okay, they have a Soulscar Mage. Jeez, they're gassing out, like, just perfectly over there. And another one of my... Anyway, so Mr. Mirabito called that... Oh, look at this clunk. Snap and the only targets we can't cast. Alright, Vraska. We're cashing in an Abundant Growth. It's a nice synergy. And we draw an ETB tapped land. Are you kidding me? We're just getting desperately unlucky here with all the little things. All the little things not going our way. But if the opponent bricks off of 2 new cards, we can flash and snap to trade. oof. You could see if, like, one little thing had gone in our favor, there would be cascading rewards for us from it, but we're getting pretty punished here in round one, you have to say. You have to say, for how consistent our deck could be, and probably should be on paper, we're experiencing an annoying fail rate. But anyway, so one of my Discord mods called something like this coming to fruition, and another of my Discord mods was on to the Cling to Dust tech, like, a long time before it became mainstream. And I actually said, that looks cool, I might be a little bit higher on Cremate. And granted, in my defense, the format was a lot faster back then. But, and my reasoning was that, like, you know, sometimes you'll have to exile a creature with Cling because it's the right play, but then you have to gain 3 life, whereas with Cremate, I'd rather just, like, always draw a card. But, of course, the flashback of Cling to Dust is what's powerful, and now that the meta's extra grindy, there's no question that that's better than Cremate in this role. So the fact that opponents ignoring Vraska means they probably had lethal before the snap showed up, but if they have, like, a Lava Dart here, then they can still put lethal together. They're going to cycle Unearth. Again, I can't believe our, like, this stage of a game, Snapcaster should be a great top deck, but unfortunately, the non-compliance is real. Okay, the Fatal Push. Again, they're gassing out like champions. Like champions across the table. All right, opponent, do you have it? Oh, they're keeping us here. All right, we're at 2. What's our best draw? Oh my goodness, OP, please, please, please. No shade intended, but, like, My time is so limited right now. Okay, there's the land. Okay, that's a fair decision to hesitate over, you know, whether to conceal info or not. Sure. We draw Inquisition right on time. Right on time. Well, Lumbering Falls is a 3/3. Like, we can cash in Vraska and then technically block with Falls, but I don't think that's a winning line. I think we need to play for the higher upside. We also... Hold on. Let's not forget about Yorion. I almost did forget about Yorion. If only Vraska was at 4, killing something, blinking, that'd be amazing. I guess we definitely need to just play Yorion, right? So do we want to float green and then sacrifice a forest, for example? To see a new card? I guess so. Another Snapcaster Mage. Well, this time we can put him to use if we survive, right? So we blink the Abundant Groves. We should not blink Vraska. And there we go. All right, need the opponent to break here, obviously. We're dead to burn. Okay. I'm going to kick it off just by decaying the Soul Scar, because that's clearly the play I want, almost no matter what else happens. Breeding pool. Well, I guess I'm gonna play Ashiok here and start milling the opponent. They do play Unearth. Before I said how bad it would it be if they had Unearth. Well, it is in the deck. Shows what I know. Hey, concession! Yo, concession, we won. Okay. On the draw, I could see, like, bringing back a Thoughtseize. I think I actually might. Our Planeswalkers all get worse on the draw. They're even harder to protect than normal. So do we want to just cut, like, a Narset? Or maybe cut our Ashiok? Now that we saw Unearth, I'll just leave the one Ashiok in, I guess. I still think it's pretty bad, though, actually. Still think it's actually just kind of bad. But maybe the one of is not the end of the world. I'm going to play with only 2 Plague Engineer. Let's do that. Alright, well, hey, you know, if we'd made them play out Game 1, maybe we'd have a chance to win on the clock here. But we didn't, and we realistically don't. They did hit a fail rate there near the end. They did flood out. They had a really good curve out, but we just barely hung in there. OP flooded. We got there. Opponent keeping 7, unfortunately. We got a nice keep, though. Definitely a sweet keep. Our mana's just painful. You know, we'll have a lot of painless progressions mana-wise with this deck. This is not one of them. So that's pretty bad. But we do have some good stuff going on. The draw of Abundant Growth is interesting. That kind of makes me want to get Basic Forest and play out Abundant Growth rather than hold up Fatal Push. I think I'm going to. Opponent with that T1 Cling to Dust. Got us. They got us with it. Kiln Fiend. Yeah, okay. Okay, Kiln Fiend. Well, we're clearly gonna destroy this. I guess it should be just Fatal Push. What's up, Man Solo? I will have to hit you back, my friend. I'd never know if I should open messages on camera. But Man Solo, you're a great guy. I'll talk to you when all is said and done. But if somebody can tell me if there's a way to access messages after you close them out like that, that would be sick. Because I don't know. If I close something out, it's kind of lost to time as far as I know. So opponent with an Abbot of Carol Keep that proceeds to brick. I guess we're still pushing this Kiln Fiend. But opponent's clearly got a bit of a weird hand going on. Alright, so there's no real need to play out the Skoos yet. Like, we could, and I think it'd be okay, but it seems like they have reactive, maybe removal style cards in hand, so one thing we could do is just have a mana-efficient turn and pulse the Abbot. We still then have Decay in the back pocket for Lurrus. Alternatively, we can kind of do things the opposite way. You know, like play a tap land and hold up Decay. I can't see a strong case for one over the other, so I'll just err on the side of painless mana. But we are curving out nicely. Down goes the Abbot. Okay, Cling, just main phasing a Cling to get rid of our Abrupt Decay. Clearly worried about Snapcaster Mage. Ooh, the follow-up Thoughtseize. That's rough. Like, they take Vraska. Very interesting. Okay, I mean, means they probably have removal for Skoos, but I still think I'm supposed to play Skoos and eat both of their creatures. I'm going to do it during their upkeep. Ooh, no, this was bad. No, it wasn't, actually. It could be bad if they have an instant speed play, and then they can also do... No, okay, that wasn't bad. Never mind. I was worried about them competing over these with Cling to Dust, but they didn't have enough cards in the graveyard, and if they had something to put in the graveyard, they would then not have the mana to escape Cling to Dust. That's what I'm trying to say. Oh, another Thoughtseize. These are well-timed Thoughtseizes for the opponent. We're now in total top deck mode. Fatal Push. At least we have Yorion, right? At least we have Yorion, and at least we've competed with the Lurrus pretty well. Yeah, I guess it's a Yorion time, right? Snapcaster Mage is probably a good draw. You know, there's... I guess we're going to save the Polluta Delta for Revolt for Fatal Push with Snap Push. Okay, so Yorion is quote-unquote only a 4/5 flying draw card, free 8th card. Will usually have better Yorion deployments than this, right? But it's still pretty freaking good. That breeding pool off the draw is not pretty good, though. Nile Spellbomb, that's a good one for the opponent. It's something that matters, and it's also a good proactive thing to do that synergizes well with Lurrus, but they didn't draw off it? I mean, yeah, I guess if they don't have the other land, sure. Yeah, that's really annoying, actually. Because now our snap doesn't do anything. Inquisition. Okay, sure. Kolaghan's Command. Alright. Okay, so opponent knows about the Polluted Delta, so let's play that out. And I'm going to try to race with Yorion, and I'm going to try to hope they brick on discard and removal. And I'm going to try to just trade Snapcaster Mage with Lurrus of the Dream Den. And if that happens, then our position's okay. If it doesn't, we're very far behind. Just flooding too much here at the end. Obviously, erasing the lifelinker is not good, but if they didn't have a good attack, we had to let them think the coast is clear. You gotta be kidding me with another Thoughtseize. Oh, no. Oh, shit. I got so tilted that I just accidentally clicked. Whereas, obviously, I meant to just put him in. It's like if in paper when you say, okay, when you're really, like, thinking. Yeah, that was just a misclick. My bad. We should have a 2-1 on the field. Just silly. Just silliness. Plague Engineer. Okay. Not honestly that good. But he does something. Just naming Cat here because if we draw another Plague Man, killing Lurrus is paramount. Also, reducing their lifelink is definitely something. I think we're supposed to leave this Delta uncracked unless we in case we top deck a Fatal Push, so I'm just going to F6 through turn. I truly do not like playing against these loops. Do you? Like, I understand it's fun to use Lurrus if you're not against a Lurrus, but, like, playing against this is pretty rough if you ask me. Opponent found a Lightning Bolt. That's a very good find, but we certainly can't complain about it because they're seeing so many cards. They're just going to find what they need. Alright, we need to find something to bail us out here. Quattle could be the start of something beautiful. What else do you got? What else you got for us, deck? Come on. Tarmogoyf. It's depressingly small, given their million spell bombs and clings to dust, but I think I'm supposed to keep attacking with Yorion, I guess. Because we want to take advantage of their potential fail rate. And the longer we allow the game to go on, the more inevitability they have with the drawing a minimum 2 cards per turn. Like, if they have enough action this turn to deal with our Quattle and to be able to keep the Goyf size under control by, like, doing their stuff while also spellbombing, move the graveyard away, whatever, then our Yorion might not have good blocks anyway. Obviously, you can always block the Lurrus, but Yup. A couple times the opponent has kind of like passed with just white mana open and red mana, no black for another spellbomb draw, so they haven't been as mana efficient as they could be. Inquisition. Yep. But I guess that's because they're respecting their life total, and I respect that. You know what I mean? I respect that call. Okay. Are we supposed to take this hit? Or are we supposed to block with Goyf, so neither of us dies unless they have action? We'd have to fetch first for that. I guess we're going to fetch and see what they do. And then I probably am going to block with Goyf, but it's an interesting call. I think that's what we're doing. If they spellbomb in a response, I mean, they can spellbomb themselves. Whatever, let's make them do that if they're going to. They don't. Alright, I think that's a good outcome, but I'm not certain. We draw another Goyf. Well, the Lurrus now has to chump our Goyf, or they have to spellbomb themselves. I'm not sure. I think I'm supposed to actually just attack in the sky here. How good would a collective brutality have been right there? That's just lethal. Yeah, another Goyf is a bit awkward, isn't it? But we will just see. Our fate is in the opponent's hands now. Mishra's Bauble seems like a really good start for them. Seems like a really good start for them. Oh boy. Oh boy. But if they don't have much else, I mean, they get info. They get info from themselves and from us. When's the last time you saw a prowess match go to time? This is what companions are doing to our format. This is what they're doing to me. I'm having fun. This is a really fun one, but again, I don't have the time. I don't have the time, man. I guess we need to double block here. They're dead on the crackback if, like... They have 3 cards in hand. We can't allow ourselves to die to a burn spell or even to 2 burn spells. I don't think our Goyfs matter for killing them on the crackback. Like, they probably can't kill our Yorion, right? And even though they gain 3 life here, they're going to be dead to Yorion. So, indeed, they do spellbomb themselves after all that. And we've got lethal on field. And they've got more baubles. They're taking a lot of actions for somebody with just seconds on the clock. Okay, second main phase Swifty. What for 1 mana can kill a Yorion? I don't think there's much in the red-black colors. Oh, you know, they could have Cling to Dust to gain life. Shoot. So they fetch... Do they play basic Swamp? Cling to Dust on a Tarmogoyf gains them 3. So I guess attacking with Quattle's bad, in case they do have that. Let's just attack with Yorion. Or we just have lethal. Alright, I have no idea why they made us play that out, but there we go! Wow, does it get any closer than that? Guys, I'm so tired. I'm so tired I play these right after work. That was like enough for me. Enough decisions for a league. That was really fun, though. That was like... That's the thing about Companion, is like, nominally, and in many ways literally, it's like good gameplay. It's encouraging really good gameplay. how many decisions were involved there on both sides of the table. It's good interactive Magic. I just feel it's a fallacy that we need companions for that. I played Modern in 2018 before War of the Spark. We had this without companion, right? But anyway, I'm tired, but that was awesome. That was a good game one. Match one, rather. And we are here in round 2 against a Gigantha deck, and we're on the play. See, this one lander I'm not going to keep because even though it has a lot to like, it doesn't have cantrips. I think we have to mulligan it. We just have that much lower of a chance of actually curving out. This looks like a fine one. I'm going to keep it. I don't know what to bottom, because it's hard to say what they're on with Gigantha. I think I'm going to go turn 1 Thoughtseize. Turn 2 could be either Astrolabe or Tarmogoyf. So I kind of want to bottom either Trophy or Uro. I think it's going to be Trophy. We're going to be sad if it's Tron. And Tron is one of the decks it could be with Gigantha. But I think Trophy is overall our worst card. Like in a vacuum. But we shall see. I may indeed come to regret this. Opponent, I will get back to you with a good luck wish. Just as soon as I resolve this here, Thoughtseize. It is Tron. Okay. And they have 2 maps. So do we take one of them? I guess we still have to take one of them. Feels weird to take the redundant piece, but that's how they're going to get Tron, right? So hopefully they just never get to Ugin. Tron is actually one of the very last matchups I wanted to see just because we specifically don't have that much for it. Like, we have Ashiok's for the Titan matchup, but we don't really have anything in the sideboard for Tron. So we also don't have permission. Like, one of the attractions to Sultai, historically in general, is that you can play on the stack. Oh my god, opponent just top-decked Power Plant. Alright, we're just going to lose unless we draw one of the trophies. One of the 2 trophies in our deck. We're pretty much just going to lose here. Yikes. Well, let's try to Astrolabe into a trophy. Or we could Astrolabe into a Thoughtseize and take the Ugin. We do neither. We do neither. Feels bad, man. We're going to get Troned here in round 2. They have a Worm Coil in hand as well. Alright. Well, it was nice knowing you. It was nice knowing you, my friends. Feels awful. Feels awful to run into this one. I genuinely don't know if we have any progression from here that lets us win, because they just slam Worm Coil now, they slam Ugin next turn. We just can't beat those back-to-back without having a different hand, you know, or at least a different board, or both. I guess it... Narset, Parter of Veils, huh? Alright, well, let's play the Narset, try to draw a Thoughtseize off of her, I suppose. And then try to beat the Ugin, or excuse me, beat the Worm Coil after that, somehow. We've drawn Abundant Growth. I shall concede. Like I said, I expect these matches to take a long time, if we're not conceding. So when the match is clearly done, I'm just going to move to the next one. So yeah, as mentioned, we don't have much for Tron. Ashiok is really medium against Tron. Definitely better than some things. You know, even a Collective Brutality or 2 on the play might be better than some things. But we don't have much. And we have 4 Fatal Push to cut. Do we have anything else that we have to cut? Not really, but a lot of our stuff is pretty underwhelming. Yeah. So I guess I'm just going to play 1 Brutality and 3 Ashiok. I think marginal cards like Scavenging Ooze number 3 are, you know, Abrupt Decay number 3. These are all still better than playing like a second Brutality or anything else on our side. Okay, well, we're probably about 2080 here, but let's try. This is a hand we definitely keep. Doesn't have any threat, though. That's pretty bad, but has some things we like. And we'll see if they matter. Tron opponent keeping 7 with a free 5/5 waiting in the wings. I'm not confident that it's going to matter, my friends. I'm not confident at all. So they have Star, Thought-Knot Seer, Karn Liberated, Ugin Spirit Dragon. I guess the play is to try to get lucky and hope they miss land drops. Certainly hope they miss Tron. So I'm just going to take Star. But we need to draw like Tarmogoyf off the top, and then we need to get lucky. That's kind of what needs to happen for us to get anywhere. Inquisition of Kozilek. Wow. What a bad draw. What a bad draw. Ooh, would have been really nice to lead on that. That would have changed a lot, potentially. I guess we still cast it now. They could have drawn a removal spell, but instead they just have drawn another Urza's Tower. Yep. Well, obviously I would have led on the Inquisition if I had it, but I didn't. And that's too bad. Assassin's Trophy. Alright, well, I'm going to just, again, try to get lucky here. And part of getting lucky will be hoping they don't just top deck Tron. And we're going to start milling them, because that's a win condition. We don't have any other win condition right now. Golos Tireless Pilgrim. All is Dust, Karn the Great Creator. Lots of spice over there. Hey, Liliana's a pretty good one, or she would be if we could cast her. When it rains, it pours. Well, let's get all of our bad variants out right here, right now, shall we? I'm just gonna keep milling them. I can't believe we don't have a second black. You know, playing out the other 3-drop Planeswalker into the Blast Zone wouldn't necessarily be ideal either. Now would it? Let's see if they have a land drop. They've seen 4 new cards since we seized, or since we Inquisitioned. Oh no, that tower is in their hands. They do have a 4th. The one that I just X'd out of, they do have a 4th land for sure. But they just top deck Tron, so whatever. They're going to top deck Tron, and then what are they going to play? They're still going to play Thought-Knot Seer. That actually makes a lot of sense. So I think what we need to do is trophy the Tron land in response. I'm just going to hit the one that they just played. And then, once again, we'll hope to get lucky. We'll hope to draw something that deals with a Thought-Knot, and we'll hope to delay, or indeed never have to face down the Karn and the Ugin. It does make sense for them to lead on the Thought-Knot here, but at the same time, it does give us a window in which to do something. But our cards are all embarrassing against Thought-Knot Seer, except Liliana, who's uncastable. They might take her anyway. But, yep, sure enough. Okay. Okay, then. So we know they have another tower in hand, plus the 2 payoffs, plus 2 unknown. Snow-covered forest. Alright, well, we're probably... You know what I'm going to do is mill with Ashiok, and then cash in the Ashiok to the Vraska. That way Vraska will be up out of Thought-Knot Seer range, and we'll see another card. And then maybe we can get Yorion down and do something. But as you can see, our deck is not equipped to face Classic Tron. Like, all of this value-oriented stuff is just not, like, that's specifically what Tron exists to punish, right? The draw of Tarmogoyf is a thing. So, the floor for their turn is Urza's Tower into Gigantha. The ceiling for their turn is find another Urza's Mine and just win. Vraska goes down to 2 loyalty. Opponent has a Sylvan Scrying, okay. GG. Yeah, that was Tron. I don't need to say anything more, do I? That was Tron. Well, again, that's... With this specific Yorion deck relative to other BGX decks, I think we lose the most equity against Tron. More than anything else I can think of. So obviously, running into it in round 2, pretty annoying. Sorry, guy, I know you actually mentioned it. You're like, you said something like, I'm wishing you a lot of Burn and Humans matchup, but more realistically, good luck against Tron. So there you go. We did run into Tron. The good luck was not so much with us. But hey, we're getting it out of the way early. Now it's time to try to do Yorion things henceforth. Oh, it's a Yorion Mirror. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. This is a 5-lander, but Inquisition into Quattle's pretty good, and we're going to make our Yorion on curve if we want, so I guess I'm supposed to keep it. Mauling in a Yorion Mirror seems bad. Not that you can't recover from it. Right? Fabled Passage. Fabled Passage is... okay. Is that just like Prismatic Vista number 5+, or I don't know. I don't know. Okay, Ren and 6 is probably what we have to take here. They also have Trophy, Dead of Winter, and Uro. Yeah, definitely taking the Ren. So we're against some 4-color pile. I see every color except white, so yeah, 4-color pile, I assume. Maybe this is even a 5-color deck, I don't know. Abundant Growth. Abundant Growth. That card looks familiar. Draw another Quattle, okay. We'd be in some trouble against that Ren and 6. Okay, there's that Uro. Do they have a 4th land to deploy? No, they do not. I mean, they're showing us Field of Ruin. Maybe we, at least one time, leave our basics in the deck. I don't know. It's hard to say because I don't know exactly what I'm up against, but we'll Fetch and Shock here. Snapcaster Mage. Alright, I think I like Snap Inquisition here well enough to do. We know we have hits. I'm probably just taking the Dead of Winter. Oh boy. Okay, they found Kolaghan's Command in the Royal Scions. Oh boy, oh boy. Well, now I'm not so sure about taking Dead of Winter. I mean, this deck we're against seems to want to do absolutely nothing but outgrind fair decks, which, to be fair, is probably a valid strategy right now. So the thing is, they cannot cast the Kolaghan's Command, or indeed the Royal Scions, until they fix their mana. So to that end, maybe we do take Dead of Winter. Cryptic Command too, my goodness. Yeah, I'm going to take Dead of Winter and hope they don't fix their mana naturally. You know, they have to take a turn off to field us. Right? And then we can continue kind of going wide here with Quattle next turn, if we want to, into a really good Yorion before they can maybe get their feet under them. Alternatively, we can just slam Jason, try to run away with the game by repeatedly brainstorming. So hey, we've got value for days too. But of course, the opponent immediately top decks a missing land. You hate to see that. There are the Scions. Okay. Well, we won't have to fight through that Cryptic. That's something. There's an Uro of our own that also seems pretty good. So do we want to get Jace down, or do we want to go Uro and make 2 land drops and then play another Quattle? Probably the latter, right? You could definitely go either way. Just doing all this main phase since they're, for all intents and purposes, tapped out. All right. Opponent keeping up that loot game. Loot game too strong. One of the reasons I like our sequencing here is because we do have lethal on the crackback against the Scions if they tap out for something else. But they're not going to, so they'll be able to protect the Scions if they so desire. Okay, there's another Uro for us, and also abundant growth. Alright. Let's attack the Scions, make them Kolaghan's Command. Or something else. Okay, they're going to field us. Interesting. Interesting. Alright, I guess we'll float a mana. I'm not sure that we'll use it. Opponent is then going to trophy Snapcaster Mage. Okay. We get another basic, and now what is the rest of our turn going to look like? Do we want to trophy the Scions? I don't think so. I think we'll just hit them down to 2. Then we get to play Abundant Growth. Into a Yorion that's going to draw us 3. Which is completely insane. We have to discard down to hand size, I guess. I don't know what to discard here. Guess just the Uro is fine. Alright, so this is just insane amounts of value. This is exactly what I mean about value generation versus resource denial. Like, I mean, both decks are just disgustingly value positive. Okay, opponent with a Dead of Winter, just to kill our Yorion. The Quatals, of course, are snow, and they survive it. So, seems fine to me. Let's get a basic first, and then figure out what to do. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think decaying the Scions is fine. I think I want to play a Planeswalker too. That trophy's not in their hand anymore. One, two, 3. Thought about playing Narset. I mean, playing Narset is pretty good. Okay, we get another decay in hand. Let's play an Astrolabe. Yeah, I'll decay the Scions at this point. Alright, the clock is huge here. I'm gonna have to just kind of start playing and playing more, narrating less. Our position's obviously very good. We've got just about a full grip. We've got a lot of action in hand. They still have a Yorion, but they don't have the board state right now to make it amazing. But we gotta be careful that they can buy back the Yorion with a Kolaghan's Command in the late game. They play Jace the Mind Sculptor too. Okay. They're gonna Fate Seal us? Ooh, I don't know about Fate Seal. I really don't know about Fate Seal. Okay. Guess it's Uro time. Get a tar pit down. I feel like I've been putting off my Jace a lot. That's another... basically at any turn for a few turns now, it would have been fine to play Jace instead of doing some other things that we did. But I also think our sequencing has been quite justifiable here overall. And as you can see, without Jace, we are just really, really far ahead. OP is able to escape Uro, but it looks like they're doing something else. They buy back Uro and finish off Narset. And they weren't escaping Uro because one reason we played Narset and it was good is because it shuts off that Uro draw, right? And to that end, I'm probably just going to play another Narset here this turn. Concession. Thank God. Oh man, that's just so not my style. But it's really good. Like, again, there's a lot about it that's good, and there's a lot about it that's fun. But boy, it's just like... it's just so much. It's just so much. I guess I'm just old-fashioned. But the resource denial magic is what I love, and that was something very different. That was 2 fair decks, but ones that are cranking up the resource generation to 1,000,000. I think we want Veil of Summer. You know, they play Cryptic Command, Kolaghan's Command. Other forms of interaction, I'm sure. You could see Brutality, you could see Thragtusk, and you could also even see Ashiok. I guess the bigger question is, what don't we like? I suppose on the evidence of that, we're going to side out our Fatal Pushes. I don't know how good Liliana is. One strategy here could be to not play Tarmogoyf and to try to just win the value game like we did there in Game 1. I think we need Skoos. I don't know if we need Brutality as much. Like, I kind of want to play like 2 Ashiok, 1 Brutality, and that leaves us 4 cuts we have to make. Do we just cut our 4 Tarmogoyf? I think I'm gonna. We'll see how it goes. But this is kind of the same concept of like classic Jund siding out Tarmogoyf against Bant Snow. I think it's reasonable. I also think you could trim like in Inquisition, a couple Abundant Growth, and 1 other thing to leave the Goyfs in. But why don't we try it like this on the draw? If we determine that it's wrong, we can change it up, and it will be better to have the Goyfson anyway on the play, right? A Yorion Mirror, though. Oh, boy. This is something. This is something, all right. Hey, guy, I hope you're having fun. We played against arguably the top deck in the format right now in round 1, and it was a Lurrus deck, and then we had the polar opposite experience with Tron in round 2, and now we're in the mirror, kind of, in round 3. Opponent will mulligan, we can keep. So we're really seeing a full range of experiences with your spicy Sultai deck here. Sultai Yorion. Running the gamut, running the gauntlet. OP goes to 5. You love to see it. You really do. Now, will our Inquisitions even hit? Well, there's a Thoughtseize we could try that, but I assume Inquisition is going to hit here. We do need to draw lands. Right now we've got discard, which is great, and then a bunch of uncastables, which is a little less great. We'll take Drown in the Luck because it's not only the best early game card, but it's the only castable card they have at the moment. Like, if we just draw lands, we're almost certainly going to win. Icefang Quattle, huh? I think I'm supposed to discard here while we know we can. Trophy, Uro, Dead of Winter. I think I'm going to take the 2 non-trophy things because we actively want land drops. And we go all the way down to 13. But the triple discard opener is pretty sweet. When the opponent mulls to 5 and when all your spells hit, right? So again, we just gotta hit our land drops now. Collective Brutality. Well, we know that's live, but I'm going to play the Quattle, trying to cantrip into a land. Please show me a land. Please show me a land, Icefang. Yeah, Tar Pit. Nice. An opponent is on the ropes. Officially on the ropes. They need a lot. They need to do a lot from here. Because now we've had the 3rd land, we can play Uro and keep cantripping, and it's all good. We do still have a fail rate of, like, just never finding the 4th land, but odds of that are obviously pretty slim. Show me the 4th land, baby. Nope. Oh well, another Quattle's pretty good there. Okay, opponent hits the 3rd land, but it's a Fabled Passage, which will ETB tapped. We have another Uro. It's more mana efficient than Quattle. I guess that's the major reason to play it. Please show us the 4th land. No. Oof. Here is our fail rate kicking in, my friends. We're giving the opponent a chance. Whereas we really, by rights, they should have no chance, right? Are they going to field us? If they hit the tar pit, I really don't mind. Yeah, a 2nd green is actually pretty important here for us. We can now deploy Quattle, main phase looking for land drops, and still hold up Veil. Opponent's got that trophy looking less than ideal in hand. Oh man, still no land. Come on, Quattle, show us. Show us the land. Oh, it's so painful, my friends. I still think we're really far ahead, but this is like the only way we could possibly lose. I'm going to snap off a Veil on just about anything except Trophy. Trophy I will let resolve. Unless maybe they try to trophy one of our lands, then maybe we Veil that, right? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Still, it's turn 7, and we've cantripped a million times, and we have not seen the 4th land. Well, at least Scoos is something proactive to do. I might have brutality'd if we hadn't drawn the Scoos, but I'm going to play the Scoos here. We're extending... I should say we're... Ooh, we are... I was going to say we're not extending into Dead of Winter. Yes, I'm sorry. Back and forth on my statements. We are. Even though Quattles don't have Death Touch, they are still Snow-type creatures, and... therefore... Alright, should we be eating Uro here? Well, it looks like they're going to do something. Okay, main phasing Snapcaster Mage. I guess we respond to the trigger. Dead of Winter? Do I even care? Do I even care? I guess I compete over this, right? Or we could just eat Uro and, like, let it all happen. I don't know. You could go either way. I'm going to compete over it, though. They might have another one in hand. That could be an explanation for this. They're finally going to trophy. Okay, you know what? Fine with me. Right? Fine with me. Second blue lets us play Jace, so I guess we should get second blue. This is totally and utterly fine with me. I'd still love, like, more land. The more lands, the better, right? Still wouldn't mind drawing them, but we are now operational. Another Uro. We could also just escape Uro. Or we could be a little safer, play the Uro from hand. That lets us hold up Veil, but I don't know. I guess we don't really need to hold up Veil all that urgently. Let's play the Uro from the graveyard. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hope we have a land on the top of our deck. Of course not. Geez, good thing they trophied us, right? They probably need another trophy to deal with the Uro. And if they do that, they give us the 5th land, and we are well and truly off to the races at long last. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Having to discard 2 here sucks. Whatever, an Uro into Decay, I guess. It's a little silly how many land drops we've missed for this long, but I was going to say they still kind of just can't win, so there's that. That was a very strange match. Very strange, actually. Game 1 was not that strange, besides the commentary I offered on how value-generating everything is in 2020, but beyond that, it was a, pretty normal slugfest, I guess, in many ways, but that game 2 was odd. But hey, we'll take it. We'll take it. So we're seeing the wide world of Modern, And it's interesting. It's interesting. There's a lot, like, what I've been saying lately is a lot of what Modern is right now I enjoy in terms of the micro decisions. Like, a lot of individual things in a vacuum are cool, and a lot of small moments in games are cool, but the macro is what I enjoy less right now than I have at most other points that I've played Modern. I hope that makes sense. And that match was a great example, because, like, a lot of the individual decisions were cool. A lot of the gameplay was interactive, and a lot of it was, all of it was quote-unquote fair. But the overall sensation I'm left with is one of, like, the resource generation is just kind of... it just is a macro... on a macro level, it's just not what I love, because it makes the one-for-one disruption feel very low impact unless it is followed up with ridiculous value generation. So, like, an Inquisition or a Thoughtseize is great if you're following up with Quattle and Uro. It's a little less great, or indeed if you're following up with, like, Kroxa or Renin 6 into, like, a Lurrus late game. But if you're trying to, like, one-for-one the opponent to death, you just can't do it. You need your own OP value generators to make, like, casting a Thoughtseize valid, right? In any case, most of you have heard me talk about similar things before, so let's stop and let's instead play round 4. I'll keep. It doesn't really have, like, if Abrupt Decay is live, the hand's pretty good. If Abrupt Decay is not so live, then neither is our hand. We're against Gigantha. Oh my god, it's another Tron deck, and they kept 7 with a turn 1 map. But, hey, Abrupt Decay is live. So, thankfully we're on the play. That said... major yikes to hit this matchup again. Like, legitimately, again, the only matchup that really stands out to me is just, like, not where we want to be on this deck. The opponent's just got Natty Tron, probably, or at least a redundant map, and main deck Relic. Bruh. Well, I think we have to assume they don't have Natty Tron. We're just going to decay another map. Really sucks. Didn't hit the third land. We're also... oh, they have a third map. Get out of here, Tron. Get out of here, Tron. Okay. We draw our third land, so now let's just play Liliana of the Veil and hope they don't have a payoff and hope they don't hit one. But we did our best to keep them off of Tron. It was not possible. What to pick here is kind of an interesting call. It's probably either Narset... well, I mean, you could actually make a case for any of these. I'm going to pick Skoos. But it's technically our best clock. But we're not going to get there that way this game anyway. So, keeping Abundant Growth allows us, if we draw land, to go Growth into Narset, or if it doesn't, allows us to go Growth into Quattle. And maybe that's better than Narset anyway. But, really, we just be hoping the opponent has no Tron payoff. And also no way to make green mana to cast their free 5/5. Karn the Great Creator. Sweet. Spyglass for Liliana. One assumes. This is what we get for not having any board presence. Not having any pressure. Opponent just gets to, like, casually tutor up lock pieces like this. So, we've drawn Lumbering Falls, eh? Okay, I mean, I guess we play Abundant Growth. Another Abundant Growth. Well, we can't afford to play that one because we're going to try to flash in Quattle. Maybe Karn will tick down again for something relatively low impact, although that seems unlikely. And then we can flash in the Quattle and attack him off the field, and the opponent still won't have any payoffs. Can you imagine that? We are bluffing Permission right now. That is definitely something that makes things interesting. Okay, Sundering Titan. Wow. Talk about making things not interesting. Is all of the Tron payoffs that have ever existed. Your casual 7/10 triple Stone Rain. Definitely seems unbeatable, but we will attack the Karn off the field. Abundant Growth on our Lumbering Falls. Into a Verdant Catacombs. So now we can play our Astrolabe. And then lose it if we ever take care of the Sun Titan. I probably should just scoop, right? But we're at least doing a couple things. So why don't we stick in until they show us another payoff? And they seem to have one, otherwise they would have cracked a relic more aggressively, right? So let's hover the concede game button. Oh no, okay, they untap and then they go for relic. I guess when you have triple tower, you can afford to do that. Man, this sucks that we just, like, with Guy's awesome brew, we run into what might be its worst matchup twice. Play another Astrolabe, I suppose. Let's Inquisition the opponent, I suppose. Double Stirrings and an All is Dust. Alright, well, at least our creature lands will survive the Sundering, the great Sundering of our time. But they can just All is Dust our Quattle away, and then we don't have a blocker anymore. So there's that. Wait, did they have a... No, they don't have another one in hand. Yep. Okay, we're at 1. A second Liliana's not even an out, because it's still got by Spyglass, and then they go get Golos. For Cascading Cataracts to turn on Golos, and we draw Polluted Delta. Not good enough. Okay, well, once again, I think we're about 2080 from here. So let's not worry about it. Pressure's off, right? We're going to play 1 Brutality, 3 Ashiok. That's what we did last time, and lieu of these Fatal Pushes, and hope for some real good luck. We need it. We need it to have a shot here. I mean, it really depends on the opponent. If the opponent has, like, hands like that, where they have rapid assembly of Tron and redundancy for assembling through disruption and multiple payoffs, we simply can't win with this deck, like, without Fulminators. And with more value generation than a traditional BG Rock deck, like, the likes of Quattle are great in a lot of matchups, but they're not great here, obviously. And this is actually why I prefer Resource Denial, because, like, a good Resource Denial deck can actually compete surprisingly well with Tron if you're, like, committed to disrupting and having a reasonably aggressive clock and You know, your 1-for-1s matter a lot against Tron if they line up. They have to line up, but if they do, they matter a lot. But you can't really afford to play that way right now. Like, you can't play a very disruptive BG Rock deck because you'll just get crushed by decks like ours, right? So that's kind of, for those who still don't understand why my stance overall is the way it is, that's kind of it in a nutshell. We have to mulligan this unplayable one-lander. Opponent keeping 7. Wouldn't you know it? I guess we'll keep this. I guess. It's not a good one, really, but we have to hope that they are kind of all in on turn 1 map getting them there, and of course we can decay the map, but we saw how that worked out for us in G1, right? They don't have map, they have sphere. But this is the one that doesn't draw when it goes to the graveyard, so we still might be... I think we're still probably supposed to decay it. Because maybe it stops them from having... Sylvan Scrying, while also making a Tron land drop. Okay, another sphere. And they have a second Tron land. They filter into green, and they have Ancient Stirring. So, again, despite our disruption, they just kind of probably have it. They take Karn Liberated, which is a little terrifying. Okay, well. Let's play our Uro and hope they don't have Natty Tron rolled up. But I kind of think they do. I kind of think they do. Oh, no, not like this. Not like this. Okay. Wow. Well, let's see what they do here. We do have Maelstrom Pulse. If this is their only payoff, we can beat it. Okay, we'll give up our land here. We'll give up our Misty Rainforest. You got us, Karn. You got us. Alright, we have drawn the 5th land. Alright, we've dealt with the Karn. Small problem with the opponent having 6 cards in hand and Tron assembled, and... What's up, Fujifoot? What's up, my man? This is one of my good friends. He's messaging me here. Once again, like Man Solo, I'm going to have to deal with that after, because I never know whether it's something that people want to be seen on camera. So if you message me and I don't hit you back, it's because I'm doing this. It's because I'm recording, and I'm respecting your privacy. Alright. OP's cracking some eggs. Gotta crack a few eggs to make an omelet, and I'm afraid we are the ones destined for the frying pan. Oh, this is how you know that I'm tired, as I'm just, like, saying things that don't really make sense. They don't really make sense, but hey, that's why you're here, for the nonsensical analogies. And the gas station sunglasses, for those who have seen Grim Tidings. Thought not seer, take away our Inquisition. You got it. You got it, big guy. Oh no. Another Sylvan Scrying off another Urza's Tower. Well, with no Stone Rain effect to draw 2, I guess our best draw is probably Assassin's Trophy. Hope they can't really function without Tron. And then try to gas out from there. What's OP gonna get? Cavern of Souls. Huh. I told you they would respect permission, but I mean, that's a disastrous fail, drawing Overgrown Tomb. I guess we're supposed to just attack for 1, then jam Yorion, right? Of all the times and all the situations to have a brick off the top and another brick off the top. Okay, I mean, it's not like we were going to win anyway, right? Not like we were going to win anyway. But I guess we stick it out because technically they're doing things that we can beat. This Golo. Alright, never mind. We can't beat all this. If we draw an answer to one, we lose to the other, and that's even ignoring the thought not beating us down. So, Tron just as grotesque as ever. But, in a way, I'm not, like, completely against it, because it is a check on these types of decks that we're playing, frankly. So anyway, there we are. We're 2-2, just like having no chance against Tron 2 times. My apologies, my friends. I wish we were having better luck. We've had a lot of sketchy keeps like this one if we are going to keep it. I don't think we can keep it. Triple discard's very tempting. I'm sort of feeling lucky, though. I'm sort of feeling lucky with this one. We're on the draw. We're against a non-companion deck. Whatever. I'm going to keep. We're gonna take a little bit of a risk here and hope that our discard carries us. And, of course, hope to hit a land right away. Eldrazi Temple. Oh my god. Oh my god. Spare me from these decks. Well, I think, Guy, that your deck is very strong, but we are running into all the Tron decks, and that ain't good. That's not good for anybody. We gotta take the Chalice here. Because our hand does nothing if they Chalice on 1. Opponent says what? What? What's confusing about taking Chalice on 1 when we... Pretty obviously a discard deck. I don't understand, but... Guess we're just taking the Eldrazi. What does Bonder's Enclave do? Okay, this is kind of a different version of Seagate Wreckage. Well, I'm going to be really annoyed if we just never draw a second land against an Eldrazi Tron deck, but it is possible. Hey, we did it. Okay. So, we're probably supposed to play something here. And we actually have a 4/5 Goyf Natty, artifact, creature, sorcery, land, and there is no instant in the yard. So we can play a Tarmogoyf, and if the opponent tries to dismember it, it'll end badly. Now, we really hope they do that, and we hope they do that on their end step, because then they also don't have a good attack into it, right? They're hesitating for long enough here that it looks like they're counting. Yep, opponent doing the math, running the numbers, deciding they're not able to waste their thing, unfortunately. Oh, another thought knot. Lovely. Lovely. Well, at least they're not attacking this turn. And we do know their whole hand. Uro goes. Alright. Would love to have hit a land there, of course we do not. So playing Quattle is the high upside play. We could cantrip into a third land and then Thoughtseize off of it. Or we could just Thoughtseize the Dismember right now. And then our Goyf brick walls everything, including the Reality Smasher. We're probably supposed to do that. Feels bad, but I think that's probably correct, but this can go wrong a lot of different ways. Including Blast Zone, but with Blast Zone we just kind of have to assume that they're not going to draw another land. And if they're not drawing another land, then Reality Smasher isn't a concern, but they could attack and then dismember the Goyf. And that's why we needed to take that anyway. Polluted Delta. Polluted Delta. Seems like a good draw. We could go Snap Inquisition for a relatively painless way to deal with Walking Ballista. We're playing more into Blast Zone that way, but like, what else are we doing, right? Delta is specifically an awkward land to draw. I kind of want like a green land more than anything, and it's the one we can't get painlessly. Swamp lets us cast Liliana if we find her. That's the main reason I'm leaning toward it. I guess that's the one, but no option there is good, frankly. Okay, so once we take care of this Walking Ballista, we're still going to need them to brick, but then in theory we can start getting our Quattles online, and again this all plays into Blast Zone, but there's nothing we can do about that. At the moment, anyway. Alright. Gotta fade the fourth land. Gotta fade the fourth land. We have faded the fourth land. Oh no, we can't cast Quattles off of Double Swamp. Okay, that was bad. That was bad. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. So sad. I'm going to ship in with the Goyf. Whatever. This is bad in a couple different ways, but so is just doing nothing against the Eldrazi Tron deck. Yep, getting this... I talked myself into the swamp, but I should have gotten... I maybe should have Affection Shocked, right? But I definitely at least should have gotten the island. If I'd just been able to get the forest like I wanted, none of this would be an issue. Well, there's the fourth land anyway. GG. They can do whatever they want now. Play Smasher, crack Blast Zone, they do the latter. We go to 1. Don't really think we have outs. And, like, literally all we drew was 2-drop threats there. In a deck with a vast variety of other things to do. So, pretty specifically bad against Blast Zone, you have to say. Abundant Growth actually would have been good earlier, but now it just seems like we don't have an answer. Okay, well, that is mighty disappointing. Mighty disappointing indeed. Another matchup where we don't have much to do because it's another Tron deck. I guess Plague Engineer is better than Ashiok here. And maybe we play Thragtusk. Seems respectable. I think the operative strategy here might be to trim around the edges a bit with like 1 Inquisition out, or 2, 1 Narset out, stuff like that, making way. Is the Thrag Daddy better than a lot of stuff we're doing? I'd say so. Probably better than Vraska, probably. Not definitely, but probably. 3 Decay might be a lot, I can go down to 2. Then we just need 1 more cut. Why don't we trim, like, an Abundant Growth just to hedge against Chalice on 1 randomly hosing too many things? I think the sideboarding's pretty good, but there's also a lot of room for variation here. Alright, we've got to beat Eldrazi Tron twice to cash the league. I don't know if we're going to. This hand's keepable. It is unexciting, though. But on the play, it's keepable. All the Tron decks keeping 7 against us every time this league, as far as I remember. That is not where we need them to be. Simian Guide. Is this a Chalice on 1? Okay, don't care at all right now. I hope I don't eat those words and draw something that's a 1-drop right away. We don't, so... You know, with Goyf just being an 0-1 rising to 1-2, I think it's probably better to flash in Quattle here. And therefore, I actually probably should have played Island, because now if we're going to do that, we have to get Island off of the Vista. Oh well. I'm getting the wrong lands a couple times here near the end of the league. What are you going to do? Alright. Well, we're finding some decent stuff here. Problem is we're against a Tron deck, so it can just easily go over the top of all of it, but... deciding between Uro and Narset here. I kind of like ramping with Uro and getting to a turn 4 Thragtusk, which seems like a really good threat on the play. If we can find the 5th land, so I guess that's what I'm doing. It was probably... Okay, cool. And we're rewarded for sequencing that way by drawing the Astrolabe. But we just run it into Chalice because I'm tired at the end of the league. But actually, you know, I'm not going to pretend I did that on purpose. I definitely forgot about it. But upon, like, a closer reflection, it actually might still be correct to just run it into Chalice, try to get Uro out as soon as possible, right? However, again, I won't claim to have done that intentionally right there. I didn't think about it long enough, but had I thought about it long enough, I still might have. OP with a Scavenger Grounds, which is highly annoying in light of our progression, but does reward us for aggressively gearing it toward this early Thrag Daddy. We got the Thrag Daddy hitting the field. And then we're going to have a really good Yorion unless they can deal with our board. And this is the type of stuff that can go over the top of E-Tron. But it won't necessarily do so, but it can. Opponent has just done nothing besides Simian out of turn 1 Chalice. Turn 2 pass, turn 3 pass. Turn 4, maybe Thought-Knot Seer. Mm-hmm. Our hand's not that exciting. There is kind of an argument for taking most of them. Taking Tarmogoyf is interesting there. Abundant growth. Do we get greedy? You can get greedy a couple different ways. You could also just take the insane Yorion value right now. Abundant growth is uncastable into Chalice. We gotta remember that. I think we're just going to take our Yorion turn here. And I'm not going to offer the trade with Thragtusk because I want the life and I want the token and I want my 5/3 back at the end of that as well. I'm not entirely certain, but I imagine they would trade if we attacked with Thraggy. But yeah, I mean, Yorion just completely nutty in this league thus far. Obviously, we pay a price to include it, but how good has it been still, despite that, right? Unfortunately, we are running into a fair amount of 1-drops off the top against this Chalice. We have a lot of answers to Chalice, though. Opponent with Eldrazi Temple, so they're 1 land drop away from All Is Dust, which is terrifying. Karn the Great Creator, definitely not something we want to see almost ever, but with our wide board we can obviously take care of him. They'll choose Ensnaring Bridge. And then they'll run an expedition map out into their own Chalice. You love to see that. You really do love to see it. Okay, Assassin's Trophy seems good. Probably want to save it for Bridge, right? Gotta get Karn off the field. So I think what I'm going to do is attack Karn with Yorion for sure. Definitely attacking the opponent with Thrag. And then I'm kind of leaning toward leaving the Quattle back to block for Narset. And using my turn to play her and hold up Trophy. Obviously we could chump block with the Beast token too, but I mean, if they have All Is Dust, we're just going to lose. I guess we're probably not supposed to play around that, right? Oh, good. 2 1-drops. Wonderful. Ah, gross, gross. Guess we're taking a Thoughtseize here. At least we got some bad draws out of the way, right? Please no All Is Dust. Of course, if they don't have a land and we're pressed into trophying the bridge, then we might well turn on All Is Dust. But at least we'll have the second Wind of Uro. Blast Zone. Okay, so there's the land. Snaring Bridge, okay. Get that bridge out of here. So now they just have 7 mana for anything. Also scary. But no payoff is scarier than all is dust right now. Is this an upkeep Scavenger Grounds activation to shut off Uro? Yep. Okay. I get it. I understand. Plague Man. Okay, so if we play Plague Man naming Eldrazi, then we can turn everything sideways and the opponent has to make a trade. Whereas if we don't play Plague Man, they can just block the Beast token and go to 2. So I guess we're probably supposed to play Plague Man, but let's activate in our set first. We'll take another Narset over that Inquisition, that's for sure. That I can tell you. So now they have to trade here with either the token or the Thragtusk. We get to draw. Unfortunately, it's just all 1-drops that we're seeing. So they know about the Thoughtseize. I'm going to cast just the Thoughtseize that they know about into the Chalice, just to start filling up the graveyard for Uro. I'm going to kind of split the difference, only do one thing. There is still a world in which the game goes long and we also get out from under the Chalice, so I'm not going to cast Abundant Growth or Arkham's Astrolabe also into it. We might well need to rebuild with cards like that if the game goes long. Okay, another Karn. They can't have another bridge to get, can they? They do. They have a second bridge in the board. I hate this deck. I hate this deck so much. Let's just find an out to it. Let's just find an out. I guess it is Narset time. Show me a decay. Oh, more 1-drops! More 1-drops! How, my friends, is this even possible? I ask you, how? I guess we play Skoos. Dude, if we manage to freaking drop this, it should not be possible to lose from this spot. I'm gonna attack Karn. But they have a second bridge to get. I've never seen that before. We have sided out 1 decay. Vraska is also out of the deck, but we still have total of 2 decay, 1 trophy, 2 pulse. Just for the green-black catch-all removal to deal with this bridge. We'll see, of course, what the opponent does with Karn. Cashes him in. Alright. For a gigantic walking ballista. You know, I'm at the point where decaying the Chalice is actually... I mean, cause we're just going to have lethal if we don't, but... Giant old walking ballista as a 6/6. If there's a deck that makes less sense, but is still good than Eldrazi Tron, I don't know what it is. Now what do? They can ping Narset, they're gonna ping Narset. At least low enough where she won't draw. This stupid Chalice on one is killing us. You just push the Ballista otherwise. We drew trophy. We drew trophy. Alright. Let's just trophy the bridge and win. Thank you, trophy. What a top deck in an 80-card deck. Opponent's so salty. Yeah. What a top deck. I only have an entire BGX deck filled with answers. Oh, ooh. That one hurts, right? Okay. On the evidence of that game, I'm a little bit more inclined to play this Decay that we left out. But what to cut? I think like just trimming another Abundant Growth's actually probably fine, or maybe an Astrolabe. Do we hedge Astrolabe shut off by Karn? Sure. For that reason alone, I can cut an Astrolabe. I think this is pretty good. But really, the Thragtusk, Yorion, Quattle value squad is what pushed us over the line that game. All right. We need help here. We need help. We need them to mulligan deep like they've never done before. We have a blacklist opening hand. Can we keep this? Oh, they keep 7? No. Why do Tron players keep 7 against me? I believe 8 out of 8 games this league, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, mulling really sucks in this matchup, but this hand's not very good. I'm gonna mull. Looking for a fire 6. I don't know if it's fire, but I can justify keeping it. Just gonna put this basic land back. I don't know if it's fire at all, but if Decay is live, then we're maybe in business. Let's hope that they're just keeping a medium hand on the power of turn 2 Chalice. Alright, no Natty Tron. No Natty Tron. It's no Natty Tron. Tis a matter reshaper. Once again, I'm thinking about getting a shocking because of Liliana. Yeah, I guess I should. Okay, Quattle finds us Uro. I guess once again, like aiming for that Thragtusk is on turn 4. If our top deck shows us the 5th land is fine. I don't really plan on trading Quattle for Reshaper. Alright, we're doing it. So, yeah, turn 4 Thraggy, turn 5 Yorion is the play if they don't have Thought Knot. They run out of Expedition Map into their own Chalice again. Seems good for us. Tectonic Edge. I mean, that's annoying, but are they really going to fire it off? They need their land drops, too. They're not gonna. They're not gonna. Nice. We draw another Pulse, that's probably pretty good, right? It's Thrag Daddy time. Daddy's home. Daddy's home. They dismember the daddy. Daddy's no longer home. Okay. Still have a beast token. We're still outracing them. Yorion is still a respectable play. If they don't tech edge us. Thought Knot Seer. Yep, we can beat that no matter what they take here. It does probably force us into pulsing so we don't lose the other pulse to another Thought Knot next turn, but I assume they take one pulse and we use the other, although maybe they take Decay to make it so we can't double spell. They could also take Snapcaster Mage, because he's the long game 2-for-1. Really depends on their hand. They take Decay. Sure. Makes sense. Not taking the block here, we're just going to erase the Reshaper. I think they should consider sitting back with it. But OP with only one card in hand. Are they considering the Tech Edge activation? We're pretty mana hungry, so I'm sure they're at least considering it. Sure enough, they do. Alright. Draw a Scoos, not the greatest, but guess we leave green open in case we draw any untapped land so we can get the Scoos down. So, boom, boom, boom. Oh my god. I'm so tired I can't click correctly. There we go. There we go. Alright, show me a land? Haha, they show me a land. Life is good when they show me a land. We want green for Scoos, but we also want blue for Yorion. But I don't think they're going to have another land destruction effect like that. So let's just assume we're going to keep our double blue alive and well. Don't get me wrong, Scoos is not like an amazing card in this particular window just because we already have enough things to do with our mana and it requires more investment to be good. Uh-oh. Opponent makes Tron. What's their last card in hand? Please be another map that they cast into Chalice again. Obviously that's not it. They would have played it by now. Oh my goodness, what is this? They have a real payoff. They have a real live payoff. Maybe a Ballista. An Ugin! Oh, please. Again, is there any deck that makes less sense than Eldrazi Tron while actually being good? Just put, like, no effort into assembling Tron and still run Ugin. Oh, I see. Makes total sense, right? Well, we just got wrecked. We're actually still in an okay spot, but we would be in a much better spot if they didn't have Ugin. So we clearly need to deal with it. I guess the best way is Snap Pulse while our graveyard's still around, and it's also just a mana-efficient turn. Well, opponent will now begin sitting back with Reshaper. Fatal Push, a bad draw, because Chalice. We can pulse away the Chalice, but I don't think that's probably correct. At least not while we have something proactive to do, like cast a Narset and dig for action. Wouldn't you know it, more 1-drops, and we bottom a Tarmogoyf? My goodness. Alright, well, once again, I'm going to take the Thoughtseize and just cast it into the Chalice, because that's correct in this spot. And I'm not sure if we want to trade Snap for Reshaper. Like, giving their 1 extra card is probably scarier than our Narset find. So I think I'm actually not taking the trade here. Just planning on the Uro this upcoming turn anyway. Karn. Okay, well that's really, really, really annoying. But it does make me happy I didn't take the trade in some ways. We'll just see what they get. Because, like, we gotta have a board presence to pressure the Karn, and if they're obligated to get something different than they otherwise would because of the board presence, then that's a win in and of itself. A Relic of Progenitus gets countered by Chalice of the Void. Yeah, karma check? That's all I'll say. Karma department? Ooh, but we just keep ripping 1-drops and giving the opponent a window back into the game. I mean, I guess we have to play Uro this turn, right? Something went horribly wrong with my attempts to click there. Okay, there we go. Once again, I'm just going to Thoughtseize into the Chalice to keep filling the graveyard back up. And we'll attack that Karn before he can tick down again. Opponent with a Blast Zone off the top, which is a really scary land, but at least it's nothing good this turn, right? Opponent animates their chalice, and it goes to the graveyard. Opponent is punting. Opponent's punting. That opens up our Fatal Push. Or is there something that I'm missing here? No, I think that was just a good old-fashioned punt. Unfortunately, our top decks have been really bad. Really bad in light of all this. Well, at least Inquisition can maybe hit. Now, it won't hit anything that goes to hand unless it's a... Not quite certain what to do here. I guess we are just pulsing the Reshaper. Feels bad, but... let's do it. Gotta tap correctly. Walking Ballista. Okay, that is something that we can Inquisition. That's one reason I wanted to do this. I mean, playing Tarmogoyf is definitely live there too. I'm a little bit beyond the ability to think too clearly right now, and we might still draw land off of Uro. Which we don't, but that would have allowed us to have our cake and eat it too. And that's a shame, because we'd obviously have lethal on the field. Concession. Oh my god, guys. Oh, we beat a rather salty Eldrazi Tron player who did play into their own chalice many a time, but we'll take it however we can get it. And, oh my god, if this isn't indicative of everything I say about Modern, I don't know what is. Literally all we faced are, like, value generator machines, mirror matches, and, well, I guess round one. Round one is a proactive, interactive deck that does have the Lurrus engine, but otherwise is not terribly skewed in that direction, but the fact that it's kind of replaced mono-red prowess is kind of indicative of it in its own right. But we faced 3 Tron decks, and we faced a 4-color value pile, and then we faced a very value-oriented prowess deck, and that's just kind of where Modern's at right now. You've got a lot of big mana still. Like, various big mana decks will wax and wane, but it seems like as long as big mana is a viable strategy, it will always be in the format, unless the format is hyper fast. And that's one of many reasons I actually didn't mind the Hogak meta, personally, but that's a different tangent for a different time. Anyway, I've been getting more 3 and 2s than anything else lately, but I've been coming through gauntlets like this one, where it wouldn't really be that unheard of to go like 1 and 4 through these types of games, right? So I'm pretty happy with how the deck performed. I hope you are too, Guy. This was definitely a real slog. It was a real uphill battle. Much like my previous Cat Rock video, we had a lot of bad matchups, and our opponents' curve-outs were tough at times. We had some less than ideal variants with our deck, but also some very good progressions that show what the deck is about. But I think this deck, if you're running into non-Tron decks, is actually really great. I would encourage anyone out there, if you've got the cards handy, do some testing with it. When I played in the lobby, if the opponent is trying to do anything fair, we're likely to smush them. Against unfair strategies, when the BGX disruption lines up well against those, this deck will be no exception to that. We do struggle against big mana, though, as you saw here today. That could be easily remedied. I mean, not easily. You'll still not be favored in the matchups, but you can include Fulminator Mage. You can include other alternatives. You could up the trophy count if you want to specifically beat Mono Green Tron more. There are ways. There are ways and means, right? But anyway, that was a cool league in many ways. It was a tiring one to play. but it was definitely, I think, a good showcase for your spicy build, my friend. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for, again, lending me the cards, for your support on Patreon, and for funding this donation league. That, again, is Guy Catlin, not from France, and we appreciate him greatly on this channel. And thank you once again to Chris, the, I believe, returning confidant, and Jacob Aaron Soto, or perhaps Jakob, the new Inquisitor, and to all Patreon supporters, new and old, I thank you very much. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Hey, a lot of you are still under quarantine. A lot of you need long hours of Magic the Gathering content. That's what this is. So I'm sure that Guy would love any feedback on his list. I honestly think we came up with something great here. Mostly he came up with something great. This is a really good take. This is kind of, in many ways, it just occurs to me, the natural evolution of the Urul-Gari list that I played relatively recently as a donation league on this channel. You can check that out, at least just pop into it. It was just before Companion came out when I played it, so there's no Companions in the meta yet. And obviously right now, if you want to hang with other Companion decks and you're a fair deck, you kind of probably have to play a Companion of your own for the most part. So in many ways, this is the natural evolution of Urul-Gari. So you can check out the Urul-Gari list if you're looking beyond Companion, if you assume that Companion will be errated, or that Lurrus and Yorion will be banned. Urul-Gari is a cool one. While Companion is around in its current form, this is kind of the evolution of Urul-Gari as I would see it. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed it. As always, you can let me know what you think in the comments below. I really want to say thank you for being here, for viewing. Advertising revenue's down, and views are also down. I think that's not necessarily a reflection on the content. I think people are a little bit not pleased with Modern as a whole as much as they were a little while ago. So between all those things, I just want to say that more than ever, the support on Patreon does mean the world to me. I really appreciate you guys. Love hanging out in the Discord, and if you out there are enjoying that content, please do consider signing up on patreon.com/GrimFlayerMTG. And finally, don't forget about our sponsor on the channel, Brian Palmer, a great dude, a BGX player of BrianPalmerArt.com. He's got tokens, he's got commissions, and he's got great playmats, and you can get that at a pretty steep discount using the GrimFlayer MTG discount code. Info in the description below. Let's leave it there, my friends. Hopefully, if you play this deck out there, you will not run into Tron 3 times, and hopefully you will run into Tron no times. If you can fade Tron, I honestly think this is a really strong deck in the meta right now, but this was my, debut league with it, so we'll have to see. You guys can let me know. Anyway, let's leave it there. Thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you for the next video. Everyone out there, please do stay safe, be well, and have a wonderful night. I will talk to you soon.